Hello guys, welcome to this video. So today I'm going to talk about one of the sins that God hates, and I'm sure that you're going to like it. So please like, subscribe, and share to those who you might want them to watch this video. So today I'm going to talk about pride, and according to the Bible, pride is one of the sins that God hates the most. And you might ask yourself, why does God hate pride? And why is it so bad a sin? So pride can make someone to feel higher than what he is. Pride can make someone rely more on himself rather than God. Pride can make you feel like whatever you do, you have the right and you have a justification to get whatever you want because of the works that you have done. So if we go straight in the scripture, we will read from the book of Luke chapter 18 verses 9. And it's a parable that Jesus was teaching his disciples about. Two people went to pray to the temple, and this parable he was telling them because of some people who view themselves as righteous than others. So I'm going to read. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Two men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. So this Pharisee, from his point of prayer, he was praying out of pride because he was viewing himself with other people. Even though he was praying and fasting, he was also giving tithes, but there was still some pride in his heart. And because of this pride, he was blinded to see the sins of other people, and him ignored his sins. And because of the things that he did, he justified himself that he's worthy to receive from God more than other people. And let's listen to this other prayer of the publican or the tax collector. Okay, verse 13. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. So there's these two people who are praying. One the tax collector, and the other one is the Pharisee. And the Pharisee, we see that he was praying with pride, because even though he was in the presence of God, he was praying, fasting, giving his tithes, yet there is still pride in his heart. And one thing that I know, that whenever you come in the presence of God, the presence of God is able to change your attitude, your life, your behavior, and your character in general. So you cannot be in the presence of God and still be sinful. You cannot be in the presence of God and still come out with pride. But this Pharisee, even though he was praying, even though he was fasting twice a week, still he had pride, and he could not address these things. Yet this publican or a tax collector, when he came before God, he first identified his sins, and he repented of all of his sins, saying that he smote his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, I am a sinner. First of all, he identified his sins, and he asked for forgiveness, because he knew that by himself, he cannot stand for himself. His righteousness is not enough. So he asked for mercy from God, rather than this Pharisee who did not ask for mercy, neither anything, but he justified himself because of the works that he did, because of the fasting, of the praying, and the giving that he did. Other than of what he is, he did not seek God to change his life. And this is the most mistake that most of us do when we come before God. We present the works that we have done, we present the hours that we've prayed for, the times that we fasted, and doing this, we forget the sinful nature of us, our hearts, and all the things that we have done. And we think that when we come before God with all the things that we have done, we are going to be justified. But in this story, in this parable, Jesus was teaching us about the mercies and the grace of God, and we cannot outgrow them. Just as much as this Pharisee needed the mercy and grace of God, is the same amount of mercy and grace that the sinner needed. Nobody can outgrow the mercy and the grace of God. So whenever we come before God, we should ask for His mercies and His grace, because without them we cannot do anything. And whoever is asking for mercy and grace from God is someone who has understood that his strength and wisdom is weak and is failing, and therefore he relies directly on to God, who will strengthen him and who will stand by him. So thank you for watching. This video is just to encourage you to put your focus on God. Do not rely on your works, even though praying and fasting is good, but generally we need to seek for God's mercy and His grace so that He may help us in time of our needs. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.